Knowledge workers lose an average of 2.5 hours per day to blank page syndrome. That is 625 hours per year gone before you write a single billable word. Right now in July 2026, that number has a fix. I have built a Claude workflow that automates the entire drafting process, from research to full manuscript, in under 10 minutes. In this video, I am going to walk you through every step. Before we build anything, you need to know which tool and why. On the LMSWISE chatbot arena, the largest crowdsourced human preference benchmark for AI models, Claude ranks above ChatGPT 4.0 in both creative writing and complex instruction following as of mid-2026. SARCs. For writers, that ranking is not abstract. It shows up in two specific behaviors. First, Claude holds negative constraints. Tell it, never use passive voice, never open with a question, never use bullet points, and it will respect those rules across 3,000 words without reverting to defaults. ChatGPT 4.0 drifts. Second, Claude maintains voice consistency across long context. When your context library is loaded with your own articles and brand guidelines, Claude generates in your register, not the median internet register. Recent technical documentation around Claude Code shows how these agents handle multi-step sequences that used to require a human project manager. Evidence that the underlying architecture is built for sustained, multi-turn orchestration rather than one-shot answers. We are seeing a shift where 2026 is the year AI moves beyond chat into natural product experiences, where the drafting happens entirely in the background. The 2025 approach of asking and hoping is dead. As of July 2026, the big shift is from prompt engineering to what experts are calling loop engineering. Instead of writing one perfect prompt, we are now designing autonomous agent workflows that iterate, self-evaluate, and refine until the job is done. McKinsey research shows that generative AI has the potential to change the anatomy of work by automating activities that absorb 60 to 70% of a knowledge worker's time. So, unlike 2025, where every session started with you writing the world's most careful prompt and hoping the output landed, the 2026 approach inverts the equation entirely. Think of it this way. A prompt engineer writes a single instruction and edits the result. A loop engineer writes the rules of a game and lets the AI play it until it wins. For writers, this means we stop being typists and start being orchestrators of intelligent systems. By 2027, this will be the standard way any professional document is created. To end the blank page, you first need to stop searching for your own data. Right now in 2026, knowledge workers still spend about 1/5 of their time, literally one day each work week, just searching for and gathering information they already own. The fix is a context library. Claude's 200,000 token context window is the blank page killer because it allows you to upload an entire library of your brand's DNA in seconds. Key. Step 1. Upload your last 5 successful articles. Step 2. Attach your brand voice guidelines. Step 3. Add your raw research notes. Claude now has a working model of how you write before a single drafting instruction is issued. This technique is called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. It anchors every Claude output to your facts, your tone, and your conclusions, not to whatever generic text dominated its training data. Expert guides on practical AI adoption emphasize that grounding your context library is the single highest leverage step before building any workflow. The blank page does not survive a 200,000 token context window loaded with everything you already know. That is not creativity replaced. It is creative friction removed. The prompt that ended the blank page for me is not a long paragraph. It is a loop design. I use a system prompt that tells Claude to act as a multi-agent writing room. Instead of saying, write a post, I say, analyze the context, create an outline, apply self-critique to that outline for logic gaps and structural weaknesses. Then, wait for my approve. That instruction sequence changes everything. The model is now running a 4-stage internal loop before it produces a single line of prose. Research synthesis, outline generation, adversarial self-review, and human checkpoint. That one phrase, wait for my approve, is the gate that separates a writing assistant from a writing partner. You stay in control of direction. Claude handles execution. Before I added the self-critique step, I was spending 40% of my post-draft time fixing structural problems, sections in the wrong order, arguments without evidence, transitions that went nowhere. Now those problems are caught at the outline stage, before a single sentence is written. This follows the co-intelligence model, where the AI acts as a senior coworker and editorial coach, rather than a basic autocomplete tool. 11. By forcing the model to self-critique before it drafts, you eliminate 80% of the usual revision work. If this workflow is saving you time, hit like. It helps more remote workers find this. This is not just about finishing a draft faster. It is about permanently moving down the experience curve. Iterationd. Data from the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that access to generative AI assistance increases productivity by 14% on average across all skill levels. But here is the number that changes the entire conversation. For novice and low-skilled workers, that improvement does not stop at 14%. It climbs to 34%. Twice. Think about what that means in practice. A junior writer who previously needed 3 hours to produce a polished draft now needs 2. A mid-level content manager who spent every Monday gathering source material now spends 30 minutes and writes on the same day. The workflow that delivers that number runs like this. Step 1. Run the research loop. Claude pulls from your context library and generates a sourced outline. Step 2. Approve the AI-generated hook. You make the single most important creative decision of the entire process. Step 3. Let the agentic workflow draft the body from the approved outline. 3 decisions instead of 300. This staggered model also accelerates your own skill development. You are watching a senior-level editor reason through structural problems in real time. 12. You absorb those patterns. Your judgment improves. You are not outsourcing your craft. You are training yourself alongside the model. As we look toward 2027, the role of writer is shifting towards system designer. Unlike 2025, where every draft started from silence, the 2027 workflow starts with a context library, an autonomous loop, and a self-critiquing agent that never burns out, never drifts off topic, and never stalls at the first sentence. The writers who thrive in 2027 are not faster typists. They are better orchestrators, professionals who design systems that think, draft, and self-correct on their behalf. You stop fighting the blank page. You start refining outcomes. The cursor stopped blinking the day you stopped prompting and started orchestrating. You just learned the July 2026 blueprint for ending blank page syndrome forever. Loop engineering is the future, and you now have the keys. Next week, I am breaking down the perplexity and make combo that automates my competitor research for $0. Subscribe so you do not miss that workflow drop, and I will see you in the next one.